Welcome to the fabulous Las Vegas Rotary Club. For this Rotary year, Rotary International President Barry Rassin asked us to be people of action and to be the inspiration. This club's continuing mission to teach youth to succeed through literacy, education, and life skills development is the inspiration that President Rassin asks of us, and the numerous local and international projects that we participate in and support are the action that he asks us to take. My name is Jim Cole, and I thank you for giving me the honor and the privilege of serving as the 96th president of what is, bar none, the best Rotary Club in the world. We are taking a break today from the live stream, so please look for that on the website when it is posted. Today, in 1949, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, was formed. In 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was fatally shot while standing on a balcony outside of his hotel room in Memphis. And in 1975, when most Americans used typewriters, childhood friends Bill Gates and Paul Allen founded Microsoft. Just so you know, in Utah, it is illegal not to drink milk. You may also, if you choose, consume all of motor oil that you choose to. At this time, I would like to bring up Tina Bishop.
I think often about the statistic Dr. Jara quoted when he was here. 68% of the Clark County students qualify for food assistance. The number is staggering and overwhelming to me, knowing that I don't have the means or the knowledge to solve that problem. I want to share with you today one of my favorite inspirational stories that helped center me and put perspective into overwhelming scenarios. Once, as a man was walking down a deserted beach early one morning, he saw another figure in the distance. As they both approached each other, he could make out that the other person was a small boy. The boy kept leaning down to pick something up and throw it in the water. Repeatedly, he hurled things into the sea. As their distance lessened, the man could see that the boy was picking up starfish that had been washed up on the beach, and one by one he was throwing them back into the water. The man looked puzzled and asked the boy what he was doing. The boy replied, "I'm throwing these starfish back into the sea. Because of low tide, all of them have been washed up on shore. If I don't throw them back into the sea, they will surely die due to lack of oxygen." The man said, "But there are thousands of starfish on this beach. You can't possibly save them all. And this same thing must be happening on many other beaches also. Can't you see that there is no way for you to make a difference?" The boy smiled and carried on doing his work. He bent down, picked up another starfish, and as he threw it back into the sea, he replied, "See, I made a difference to that one." The lesson is simple. Out of thousands of problems you can see, if you attempt to solve only one of them, you will have made a difference. You don't have to do the craziest thing in the world. You don't need to be the most spectacular. You don't need to be the most famous. Unfortunately, when we leave this earth, there will likely still be abandoned starfish on the shore. Quoting Teddy Roosevelt, "You just need to do what you can with what you have, where you are." Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to invite Ted McAdam to come forward and lead us in the song.
Thank you, President Jim. This is easy. There's so much blue in the room today. I thought we'd sing the Marine Corps hymn. That's for you, Stephen. All right, you know where we're going here, right? All right, go Air Force. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Attaboy, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame or go down in flame. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. Go Air Force.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. Please be seated. Our Sergeant at Arms today is Steve Linder, who may or may not have a retort to that song. We have international guests. Would you take the microphone to Bob Warner, please?
Here's one of the best Marines going. Okay, today, unfortunately, is Murray's last day, and for the summer, and he will be back in the winter.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for having me here. It's tremendously enjoyable. And I hate to leave the #1 club in the world, but I'm going back to the #1 club in Calgary, so in Canada. So thanks.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Murray.
We've enjoyed
Love having
you.
you.
No other internationals? We have visiting Rotarians. If you're a visiting Rotarian, please raise your hand.
Always my pleasure to be at the Las Vegas Rotary Club. My name's Randy Pote. I was honored to serve as District Governor of District 5300 in 2015-16. I'm going to leave some of these bright purple flyers. I want to tell you about an appreciation party for outgoing District Governor John Chase at Ricardo's at Flamingo in Decatur on the 13th of July. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome back. Other visiting Rotarians?
Hi, I'm Candy Rosenberg. I'm visitor Rotarian from Southwest Rotary Club.
Welcome. Thank you. Do we have other visiting Rotarians today? Visiting Rotarians? Seeing none. Guests of Rotarians. If you have a guest, please raise your hand.
I have with me today my wise counselor, my wife of 50, how many years? 52, it's a long time.
Don't be getting that wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to trouble. I also want to recognize Dr. Bill Steffen, because in April of 1992, he sponsored me into this club. So thanks, Dr. Steffen.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to introduce Dan Hippler. He's the Executive Director of Marketing for Terry Fader, Inc., and you'll be hearing a little bit more from him later today.
Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce my friend John Sanders, who is the Director of Business Development for Core Construction Company here in Las Vegas. This is his first Rotary meeting, so he's here to check us out.
Welcome.
You better treat him nicely, Kim.
Good afternoon. Today I have Michelle Roy as my guest. She is with Loeb and Plough. Did I say that right? Okay, close enough. And just moved to town, so what a better way to meet people in Vegas than come to Rotary.
Welcome. Other guests?
Hi, everyone. In addition to Candy, who's in addition to a visiting Rotarian, my wife as well, we have a guest, Gretchen Moy, who's joining us, a friend and neighbor as well.
Welcome. Do we have other visitors today? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and introduce the head table. Seated directly in front of me is Marie Walsh. To her left is our speaker today, Katie Decker, and seated to her left is Brian. We just heard from you. So, Steve, today is the first Thursday of the month, so if you could take the microphone over to the birthday table.
My name is David Lester. I was born on the 18th of April, and just so proud to be here, so happy to be here. Thank you.
Ted, hold on. Let's keep your choice, Ted. Four-way test or birthday table?
I don't know why you picked the 18th, because that's my birthday. Anyway, I'm just happy to be here. I've been a member for 21 years, and I don't know what to say. It's just been wonderful. Everybody's been great, and it's just absolutely a nice experience to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dave Thorson. I've been a member since 2009. I was president of the club 2 years ago. Greatest organization I've ever been part of, and very pleased to be here. My birthday's on the 22nd. There will be tequila flowing if you can find me. So.
I'm almost having the mic as much as Russ Swain today. My birthday is April 19th. I think I'll be 37. I've been a member of the club 3 or 4 years, and it's the best thing I've done.
Hi, I'm Ginger Anderson. My birthday is not in April, but Craig Miller's is, and he couldn't be here today, so he asked me to fill in for him. His birthday's on the 9th.
No, that's not going to fly.
No. It was worth a shot.
You and Ted, welcome, and thanks for your donation to the club. We appreciate it. At this time, could I invite the lovely and melodious Sidra Kane to come sing to us?
I have to wait for Jim. Okay, everybody join in and happy birthday. Here's your note to start. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Rotarians who helped us set up today. Walt Parrish and Carrie Groh helped with the greeting. With setup. Greeters were Jamel and Deb Granda. Invocation was by Tina Bishop. Song leader was Ted McAdam. Teardown is going to be by Carrie Groh and Michael Williams. Our Sergeant at Arms today is Steve Linder. Photographer is past President Jim Tucker. And tickets were Marie Walsh and John and Jemmy. All things technical are Kirk Holmes and Stu Lipoff. And last but not least, Facebook is Adam Homey and Francesca Gilbert. At this time, I'd like to invite Dave Thorson and Dan Hippler to the front, please.
Thank you, President Jim. Members, today is the day we celebrate our Wetzel winners here in the club. And I know we've got a lot of new members. I'm not going to read Scotty Wetzel's entire bio, but I just want to give you a couple tidbits of who this gentleman was that we've named this award after. He was an Air Force pilot. He was the vice commander out here at Nellis prior to his retirement. After retiring, he joined our Rotary Club. And just a few of his accomplishments. He actually flew 217 combat missions over Vietnam. And he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, Bronze Star, 16 Air Medals, and the Air Force Commendation Medal. So as my stepfather would have said, he was no slouch. And he's, I think, we have a lot of people in this club that are just like Scotty, and so it's a great honor to be able to honor his legacy by rewarding these fabulous airmen for their service to our country and their community service as well. We did the formal ceremony out at Nellis last week. I want to give the mic here to Dan Hipple, who I mentioned earlier is the Executive Director of Terry Fader, to make a little announcement about supporting our Wetzel Awards, and then we'll bring the awardees up here. So, Dan?
Thank you. I just want to express our gratitude for both myself and for Terry. Terry Fader's been the headliner at the Mirage for 10 years. In those 10 years, he's donated all of his merchandise sales to charity with a major focus on military charities. And we're just so proud to support the community in this way, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. So what Dan didn't mention is Terry has donated 40 show tickets, so 10 tickets a quarter, so that our winning airmen and guest of their choice can actually go to the Terry Fader show, which is a fabulous show, by the way. I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and it's really fantastic. So thank you, Dan, for that. So we're going to invite our Wetzel winners up here in no particular order, and I'm going to give them the mic, and they can tell us about themselves, what they do in the Air Force, and where they're from, and so forth. So first up is Senior Airman Ashley Wiles. Give it up for Ashley.
Hi, I'm Airman Wiles. I'm at the Warfare Center in Nellis. I am admin, so I work on awards, decorations, evals. I do a lot of the video teleconference for the generals. I'm originally from Michigan, and I'm here for another 4 years. So
Thank you. We have the certificate for you, and the promised Lowry bucks, and the show tickets to Terry Fader. So congratulations. And if you could stay up here, we're going to get all of your pictures. You can just hang out up here. We'll get all your pictures at the end of this. Next up, if I can get myself organized here, is Staff Sergeant Tyler Lawrence. Let's give it up for Staff Sergeant Lawrence.
Thank you. Staff Sergeant Lawrence. I work at the Nevada Test and Training Range. I'm in charge of all the fuels operations. So basically just doing QA work, making sure that the contractors are doing everything right, and all the fuel is clean and dry for our pilots. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Airman First Class Celine Wallace. Celine, come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Airman First Class Celine Wallace. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and my job basically consists of like just paperwork for pilots. Like I do all of their pay and all of their flight records and everything. That's basically what I handle.
What happened? There it is. Next up is Staff Sergeant Ashley Holm. Give it up for Staff Sergeant Holm.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Staff Sergeant Ashley Homme. I'm a respiratory therapist in the world's greatest Air Force. So I work at the hospital over at Nellis Air Force Base. Primarily, I work in the ICU, the ER, and the medical surgery unit. So I help people with their ventilation issues. So I give breathing treatments and assist people with the ventilators when they're not doing so well. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you.
Our last winner is Staff Sergeant Jacob Diaz. He's with the Thunderbird unit, actually, and they're touring. So he's out actually touring with the Thunderbirds today. We were hoping his supervisor could make it, but he wasn't able to make it. So to accept on their behalf, I'm going to invite up Sergeant Lisa Denton, who's actually our coordinator for this entire program. So a big round of applause for her, because she's the one that rounds up our nominees and does everything.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having all of us. It really means a lot, especially to all of our airmen and NCOs. Like you said, my name is Staff Sergeant Lisa Denton. I am the coordinator for the Wetzel Awards. I work up underneath Chief Beatles as his executive, and I'm really sorry that Sergeant Diaz wasn't able to make it today, but I'm going to accept this, and I'll let him know how grateful you all were. So thank you.
Thank you. One last big round of applause for all of our Wetzel winners this quarter. They did a great job. Thank you for your service to our country and our community.
At this time, I would like to invite immediate past President Michael Gordon to the front.
Okay. Thank you, President Jim. So today it is my honor. Every year, Rotary has the RI citation that they give to every club, and it's a whole bunch of requirements that clubs have to fulfill, boxes that they have to check. So some of these requirements are you have to do an environmental project. We did that at Tom Thomas's cabin. We planted some trees. You have to do some education projects. We do that, of course, as you guys know, every month with Breakfast with Books, helping kiddies, many schools, and social events. We do that with Cigar Fellowship. Of course, you just saw Nellis, the Wetzel Awards, all these things. So this past year, so we were lucky enough to check these boxes, which is an achievement in itself, because about only 10% of clubs worldwide get this citation. But I do want to say that this isn't, our club is so amazing, and we do so many of these things every year. It's almost automatic for us, but we should still celebrate it. And I think this past year it was interesting because there were two specific requirements that I think only our club could do, right? They said you have to have a song leader that from time to time gets up on a ladder and splits the room in two to sing two different songs. And I said, wow, that's really a specific requirement, and that we haven't. And then they said you always have to have a tall past president who refuses to give up the microphone, but somehow always ends up with the microphone. So I said, we have that guy too. So thanks, past President Russ. So to all of you, this is your achievement. This is not, so congratulations to all of you for achieving the 2017-18 Rotary citation from the RI President. Congratulations, Las Vegas Rotary.
Thank you. And it should be noted that if not for past President Michael making sure that all this got entered and RI was aware of it, we would not have got the award. So thank you, past President Michael, and your board for a fantastic year. Thank you. Stu, if you could, with the video, please. We're tight, so I'm not going to sit down.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our ideas with others, we know they'll see it too. And bring new perspectives, lend unique skills, and take action in the communities all around the world that we call home. When people come together, that's when real change happens. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, we turn what we see into what we've done. We are people of action.
So as you're aware, and I keep telling you, we are running a People of Action campaign from Rotary International. I just wanted to share that with you to give you some ideas. We're looking for new and exciting projects. So if you have something, please bring it to myself or to the board. We'd be more than happy to consider it. And also, please share your photos with Francesca and Adam, and send them to Beck as well so that we can roll up our own People of Action slides. We are slowly but surely going to phase out all of the official ones for slides of ourselves. So you could do that. Past President Steve, could you take the microphone to Joan Murdoch, please?
I'm sure that most of you have noticed the women that have come forth out of the woodwork to disclaim their difficulty with men and touching them. What I would like to do is share with you my experience. I have, from 17 years old, I began work with the Division of Highways in California as an under-engineering aide. My last job was as warden of 2 men's prisons. And that was about 60 years worth of work. So I worked with mostly men. And in that time period, I never was sexually harassed or harassed in any way when I didn't say to them, don't do that. And I encourage all of you to be aware of what's happening to you, and if you don't like it, say something. Don't wait 30 years to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. While you're there, could you take the microphone to past President Karen Wisenhunt, please?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Today is the kickoff for the Tiberti Classic family-friendly 9-hole golf putting tournament and barbecue. It will be on Sunday, May 19th at the Angel Park Golf Course. We're looking for golfers and we're looking for sponsors. The tournament sponsor price is $500. Lunch, beverage sponsors $250, and then whole sponsors $50. To golf and for your barbecue is $30. And this is a family-friendly event, and all the proceeds go to the Rotary Youth Exchange Program of the Las Vegas Rotary Club. You all remember Peely from last year. The funds from the golf tournament last year helped to pay for Peely to go on the train ride, and this year it helped to pay for our youth exchange student from Paris to take English lessons. So it's a really good event, family-friendly event. Bring your kids, grandkids. They don't have to be Rotarians, and we encourage everybody to come out and golf. So this information's on the back and also in the sign-in sheet.
Thank you. Could you take the microphone to Marie Walsh, please? Head table. Head table.
Thank you, President Jim. This is it, everyone. April 9th, which is next Tuesday, is the last Breakfast with Books. We'd love to have you all there. If you haven't signed up, and then in the end you can't sign up, just come and show up. We'd love to have you. I'd like to mention to wear your yellow shirts also. And also, next, the 11th, the next meeting will be the valedictorian luncheon. Please come and help celebrate the future leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you take the microphone to immediate past President Dr. Michael Gordon? Debunking party.
Oh.
You don't have to give this announcement if you don't want to.
Oh, yes. That the last Thursday, June 27th, we're going to have a get wet party. Everybody's going to get wet. Oh, wait, there's only one person, right? So come next Thursday is the planning party for President Jim Cole's debunking. So next Thursday, 11:30, out in the bar area. So show up early because it's valedictorian, so you can get early parking. Come claim your seat, and then come to the debunking party meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Could you take the microphone to Tina Bishop, and I'm going to ask you just on the fly to talk about RILA, if you could.
So last weekend was RILA up in Big Bear, California. We had close to 400 young people that were there. And I have to say, personally, it was an amazing experience. First time I've been to that. I saw a group of kids. I'll talk about my group in particular. I had 12 kids, 12, young girls and boys. And they did not speak to each other. The body language was closed. There was one girl that didn't make eye contact with anybody. And by the end of the weekend, they had put together an awesome project and just did a great job. And we saw that all over. I think the general response was it was the most enthusiastic group that they've seen in a long time. So it was excellent.
Thank you. Could you take the microphone to Kim Neone to talk to us about 25 Club?
Thank you, Jim. President Jim. Last week we had an amazing time serving meals at Las Vegas Rescue Mission, and there was about almost 20 of us there. Really eye-opening. I know I talked about it last week, but I would encourage anybody in here who has never served a meal at the Rescue Mission or any of the food shelters we have here in town to take time to do that. I mean, it's really eye-opening. I think the statistic that I heard last is that there's about 6,000 people here who are homeless. And so you think about that, and you go to a place like Rescue Mission to serve one meal. In 1.5 hours, we served 722 meals. Think about that. To individuals from all aspects of life, and all sorts of parts of Las Vegas. So we really had a great time, and we hope to do this again. And if you have any interest, please let me know. And lastly, this month, for those of you who signed up, we're doing painting at Pinot Palette. So it involves wine and painting. And if you're interested in signing up, check out the Green Book. But we're limited to about 20 or so individuals participating, and wine and etc. will be on your own. But we'll have the painting and have a good time. So thank you.
Thank you. Could you take the microphone to Deb Granda, please?
Keeping you running from one end to the other room. I'm here this afternoon to talk about the fundraiser on April 27th, Cuisine and Octane. So I want to make sure that everyone is aware of what we're doing. We're holding a, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's going to be a super fun event at Celebrity Cars at Ryan's Place. We're going to have food stations. We're going to have a cash bar. We're going to have a silent auction. We've got over 33 items already for the silent auction. Some really great items like tickets for shows, dinners, a massage, all different kinds of items. So the silent auction is going to be really a lot of fun. We have games coming. Janice has arranged for a bunch of games, shuffleboard and foosball and beer pong, and lots of fun games to play during the evening while you're eating and enjoying the auction. The highlight of the evening is we've able to get some members of the cast of Counting Cars to be there. So if any of you are familiar with that show, which unfortunately I'm not, but that should be a big highlight of the evening. They've agreed to be there that night and take pictures and interview and just spend the night with us. So we're looking at April 27th, 6 o'clock, 6 to 10 at Celebrity Cars. We'll have tickets. Tony will be over at the table after the meeting selling tickets. We are asking everyone to take at least 3 tickets, if not more. Invite your family, friends, sell the tickets. We're not asking everyone to buy them themselves, but sell them outside of the club, and let's get some OPM, other people's money, into the club. I would say it's probably not a kid event, but if they're real little, I would say no. If they're like more of the teenage range, we hadn't thought about that. So let me think about that and get back to you. Are we talking teenagers or little kids? Okay. Yeah, let me talk with Jackie about that and see what we want to do with that. Any other questions? Again, April 27th, 6 o'clock. The tickets are $60, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Don't sit down. Just for a quick second. So last week you got your check for winning the half of the pot, and I find you, which I love finding people. It's always fun, and you stepped up. And instead of writing a check for $100, you wrote a check for $250 to the foundation. So she went well beyond her fine. I just think she should be recognized for willfully sharing what she won with the foundation. So thank you so much, Deb.
It was my pleasure.
Now, if you could walk that way to talk to Ms. Gilbert, please.
I did post today, Facebook post. I did post. Ryla pictures everyone on Facebook. Okay, thanks so much. Nice talking to you.
It's funny you talk about Facebook posts because we have one here. If you could walk around and just take a look at it.
Oh, thank you.
Care to explain?
Sure. So I was really honored to be selected as one of the top 25 women in real estate through the Women's Council of Realtors for the 3rd year in a row. So I get to go to a fancy schmancy dinner, and really just, it's a great honor. So very, very excited. So do I get to stand up here and talk? So
yeah, you might as
am I
well.
going to get fined?
It's going to cost you.
All right, so Francesca Gilbert, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Nevada Properties. Been a realtor for almost 31 years in September. Started when I was 2. Thank you, Steve Casey. Really love real estate. So am I at 250 yet? Because I want to match what Deb did, at least.
Okay.
I don't want to. Are we good?
It's my honor to select you as our fine recipient this week.
Yay! Well, it is my privilege to be fined. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Hey, congratulations. What a great award. Okay, before I forget, if you are going to District Assembly, in the Green Book, there is an order form for shirts. We're all getting shirts at, say, Las Vegas Rotary Club and District Assembly for this year. So if you're going, get yourself a shirt. Okay, that brings us to the raffle drawing. Today's take is $665 plus whatever was donated today. The chance to draw for the Joker is 811-398-1398. Renee. 1398. Yes. I like that. Okay, for the Lowry's box, 811417, 1417, last four digits. One four one seven. Oh. No, 1417. 1417. $14.17 going once, going twice. Okay, we'll draw another ticket. Steve, you want to take the mic over there just for a second?
Brock. Yeah, his name is Brock Frazier, past President Brock Frazier.
I need glasses at my age, James, so...
I'm with you. I need the glasses too, but you ran these raffles, did you not? Thank you, Brock. We appreciate your donation. Okay, 1435, 1435. Jamie. Congratulations. Okay, this time I'd like to invite Marie Walsh to the front to introduce our... I'm sorry, Brian, please come to the front. I just scared Marie. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Katie and I are going to be co-presenting today, and so I'm going to go ahead and introduce Katie, and I'm going to get us started, and then hand the mic over to her. Yep. So, so I met Katie actually a year ago, just about to the day, and Kirk Holmes had introduced us. When I launched Socrates and we were looking for pilot schools, Kirk's immediate reaction is, you have to meet Katie Decker. And I remember going with Kirk to see her schools, and we got a tour of all three that day. And seeing the schools and seeing the experience at each of those schools and thinking, why can't every school be like this? And as I got to know Katie better and understand the drive and the passion that she puts into what she does, I realized that every school can't be like that because there's only one Katie Decker. And as probably most of you are aware, after 30 years of service to the Clark County School District, Katie is going to be retiring in about a month. How many days left? and I think that, after 30 years, that most people would probably think about what they can do to take a break, to get some time on the beach. But anybody who thinks that Katie would do that doesn't know Katie Decker. And so she is going to immediately launch into another project that we're going to be talking about today, and that I am more than proud and excited to work with her. So before we get started, I think I'd just like to have a round of applause for the incredible career Katie did. That's what I'm checking here. So that was only slightly a stall tactic. There we go. Okay. So the project I wanted to talk to you about was CitySim, and I mentioned Katie previously. I did want to provide a quick update on Socrates. I spoke to everybody here about Socrates about a year ago. Just a couple of key updates just to share with everybody that we're now at about 14,000 users. We're in about 35 schools. We actually launched in Mexico yesterday at schools in Baja California, and we are going to be expanding out further. And last night, we got word that we have received an award for a world-changing idea in education that we'll be accepting in a couple of weeks. So, and Katie has been a big part of helping us to use that, to bring that product to the market as well. So with CitySim and what we're doing with that, look at part of the challenge in education today is not just math and reading and what we traditionally think of in education, but rather what we do to prepare kids to be effective adults. And when you look at some of the statistics and the crisis that we're in from a financial education standpoint in this country, it's very alarming. And you look at that first statistic that 44% of Americans, 44%, don't have $400 to cover an emergency in their bank account. And you look at that blue one, the bigger box, the 34%, that's Americans who have no money in savings at all. And that leads to the increase in rise in payday loans. And I actually had an opportunity to work with Cash America, the largest supplier of payday loans in the country, in my consulting career about 10 years ago. And the more I learned about how that industry operates, really the more depressing it became in terms of how big of a challenge this is for our country and the companies that are out there taking advantage of that. Debt, when you look at where we stand in terms of that, 43% of student loan borrowers are not making their payments. College prices are going up, and students don't have the money to pay those loans back. And the percentage of credit card debt continues to increase as the rates on that credit card debt increases as well. When you look at retirement savings, again, more alarming numbers. 1 in 3 Americans have $0 saved for retirement. And when you look at the 42% of Americans are going to retire broke, and broke is defined as having $10,000 or less for retirement, for your retirement life. So all those people are going to be on Social Security and trying to get by on that when that's continuing to decrease all the time. And there's always going to be pressure to raise the retirement age as well as to decrease the benefits that we receive. And what's particularly alarming is that as we look at millennials, the people that are going out and starting their careers, they are in really bad shape right from the beginning. And the percentage of their income that goes to paying off debt, if you look at that last chart, 57% of their income is to pay off debt, of which student loans is a huge portion of it, but credit cards as well, because the first thing they get when they go to college is their applications for credit cards. And when you look at some of these other numbers, 1 in 3 millennials live with their parents. That trend is continuing to increase. And certainly, as a parent myself, I'd like to know I get a break at some point. And we want our kids to be financially independent, but they are not financially independent until they're in their early to mid-30s, in the way it is today. And why? So as a result, why invest in financial education? 76% of millennials lack a basic financial education. When you think about it, even when you have your own experience, did you learn about how a mortgage works from your teacher, or did you learn about it from the guy who sold you your first mortgage? And that's a continual problem that we are learning through experience, and often that means we learn through mistakes. And this last thing, the statistic here I think is particularly important, that financial education programs benefit 100% of students. Every child benefits from a financial education, yet we don't require it. Only 5 states require financial education in school. We do require you to take algebra, and only 19% of people ever use algebra in their careers. So why is it that we have all this focus on learning something you don't need and no focus on something that absolutely everybody needs in order to be successful in life? And so that's what we want to change, and that's what Katie's going to be sharing with you today.
Okay, so enter the concept of CitySim. I know you've heard me talk many, many times about traveling out of state to take all of my students for a BizTown experience through Junior Achievement. And I have to travel out of state because we have nothing here. And so after 7 years of trying to get one built, I just decided it might be a little quicker if I just go ahead and do it. So that's what we're going to do. And I got this great club that will totally help us, so I'm really excited about that. And when I mentioned it to Brian, he was really really engaged, and he actually went to Biztown with my 5th graders this year so he could fully learn about the experience and brainstorm with some of my teachers. They too would like to stop sleeping on the floor of a museum. And so we really want to have this experience not just here so that my 3 schools have a more convenient way of getting this financial education, but I can imagine it's going to spread to the entire valley, and that is a greater global impact on education that I could make versus running 3 little schools. So I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I've been doing a lot of homework and going to other models across the country. So I went to one in Kansas City, and it was the School of Economics. That is the bare bones homemade lemonade stand, like literally made out of like carnival booths version of a Biztown. And so that was not the one I liked the most. And then Kidzania, I got some information about that, but you need $20 million to franchise, and I think they're a little bit too expensive. It's cool, yes, I like it, but not so much. And then Young Americans, and then, of course, the regular Biztown. So basically, I'm always looking at improving things and trying to come up with a way to make it streamlined and more efficient, especially with time, because we know in the classrooms we don't have a ton of it. So the Biztown lessons right now could be improved upon. So using a digital platform and making sure that the teachers have it and making sure that it's relevant and it's tied to the Common Core curriculum, so it's not an additional thing that the teachers do, but a replacement for what they're currently doing. A better way of teaching those concepts and skills, both through mathematics, language arts, and even through social studies. So what is CitySim? It's a mini city, basically just built out, and it can be as fancy or as homemade as necessary. But it'll be a little mini city, and if you Google financial education city and look at images, there's just tons of versions out there. But basically, it's a big space, and then the kids ahead of time, and this is important to me, they interview, and our schools do it. It's not required by the other program, but it's important. They have to interview for their job. They have to understand their jobs. We want to make sure that they are getting like an employee orientation video they watch prior to arriving at the town, and then they do their job for the day. We want to make it a real city, a hometown that they understand. They can join Rotary for the day and choose philanthropy. We can have a Rotary wall with the current projects the club's working on. They can choose where their dollars go. We want them to understand philanthropy, our community, making it a better place, voting for the mayor of the city and making sure they're participating in that, and having them truly understand there's a difference between responsibility and pay that you receive. So the CEO is going to make a little bit more, but they might have to do a little bit more complex of a job. And then we also have some other great ideas to integrate in, and we're open for new ideas too. So a day at CitySim is basically a culminating experiential learning opportunity for the kids. So they will do some learning back in class, and then they will come and have the experience at the day when they get there. So they hit the ground running and they run the town. So we really wanted to look at a variety of businesses to expose the children to career opportunities. One of the most challenging things for my students in my at-risk schools, they only know about the careers that their parents do. So when we do career days and things like that, those are critical to expose them to opportunities, because I've had students write, when I grow up, I want to be a cockfighter. That's awesome. Let's talk about some other choices. Or you get futbolista. I want to be a soccer player. Okay, that's your plan A, but what's your plan B? So really exposing them to just a variety of different careers and how much fun it is. And I can tell you, when I take the students to the town, the things they say, like they'll see the bank and they'll be like, oh, I want to work there now, Miss Decker. Okay, but you have to earn that, and someone has to choose to hire you. So you need to practice today, and let's see how you do, and let's talk about what path you need to take to earn that job. And so kind of flipping the switch. We've gone a lot into education where kids think they deserve things or are entitled to things or get things, but we really have to teach them, you get what you work for, you get what you earn. It's not just a given. So we looked at like car dealerships, or we talked to somebody from Massage Envy, which could be a super fun one to add into like a health career. Just different career choices so the kids can get a balanced variety of options of things that they could work towards in the future. We wanted to add in real life. Because that's the one thing when we teach our piggy bank lessons, I always tell the kids, if you spend your money, what happens if you get a flat tire? Can you afford to fix it? How are you going to pay for that? And so having things happen to the business, which is real life, like your computer didn't work that day. So what are you going to do? How are you going to problem solve it? Can you write stuff down on a paper? Like, what do you do? So really giving them some challenges throughout the day that they understand that life happens, and how you problem solve and figure out a solution is how you survive. We also wanted to tie in a stock market concept so they could understand that earnings and how they relate to what their business is doing, so they could instantly see what their business is performing the best, which business is struggling, and then also work on that cross-marketing and helping each other. That's a big part of it. Realistic salaries and budgeting. So we want to make sure that they really do know those jobs. We want to work with the companies that partner with us, and we really want those company employers to do the orientation videos, to let the kids learn about the mission vision of that business, to let them learn about what the actual roles are of that business, so that they get excited to be that employee, and they're going to be working for, you know, Meineke or whatever. I'm not good on the fly on a business name. Anybody want to insert? There's no, I'll get you in trouble. All ages. We also want to expand. So BizTown, like right now, is just 5th grade. We want to expand opportunities, and we also want to work with the hotel industry and the conventions to use it as a team building opportunity, because we have a lot of adults in our community that could benefit from an experience like this. And we also would like to offer it to some of our parents, our families, to help them understand the different responsibilities within jobs and how the community runs and works. So we thought we could do some things on the side on weekends and evenings, and even open up the town for summer camp type experiences and other opportunities. So it won't sit empty. Kids who play more learn more, and that's a fact. We know that even just from watching kids play on Socrates. They're playing games, but they're actually learning. The more we can put in experiential learning and hands-on, and they're engaged, then they're actually paying attention. And that's how we hook them, and that's how we get them to learn. So how can you help? We need a lot of help, because obviously it's a concept right now. It's going to happen. But we are looking for locations right now. We're going to check out a location actually tomorrow at Nellis. That we're working with Starbase. Our students also go to the Air Force Base for a Starbase experience, and Miles might have a little space for us out there as well. And so we're checking that out, and we're working with someone else with a tiny location that's been offered, but it's up in Southern Highlands, and we really would love to be centrally located in the city or near to the at-risk schools. So that would be ideal. We need recommendations from sponsors. We're going to start getting our website up, and then we'll start GoFundMes, and we'll start building up a sponsorship package. And we need help with, you can sponsor a booth or decorate a booth or have your company or whatever. And that's spread the word. Let people know what we're building, because I know that every city I go to, they're building more than one. So even the little Kansas City one of the local banks is sponsoring a brand new build of another town because they're booked up. She said she opens the dates, and in a week they're full for the year. And so I imagine ours, given the size of our district, we'll probably have the need for more than one town, but we'll start off with one, but we'll probably need 2. Phoenix has 2, and San Diego's building a second. Utah's building a second. We have 0. We need 1. Okay?
So we're going to be sharing more about the program. We'll have a website up shortly, and we're going to be looking for help to identify sponsors and opportunities. Of any ideas, suggestions that any of you have, please let us know. This is something that very, very much want to help to make a reality, and I've dedicated part of my company's team to help to build this experience, and I think that it'd be something that could benefit not just the kids, but also the adults as well, and help to that as those kids get older, that they have the benefits of all those experiences. They become more productive adults, and more of them can participate in groups like this in the future.
Oh, right here.
So, Katie, are you looking for a facility where you build the town and leave it, and the kids come every week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the primary emphasis is doing business, but a focus on the finances, balancing a checkbook, allocation of
Yes.
funds, a budget, etc.
Yes, those will be part of the lessons they learn
Okay.
in class through the curriculum. But on the day when they go to work, they'll actually be earning their paycheck, depositing in their account. They'll have to deposit a portion into, they can allocate some to savings. They can, you know, we're going to bump up the salaries so that they're more realistic for the job that they're doing, so that they can get a sense of earning economy. And yes, they'll be learning all of those concepts to tie with it.
Katie, is the school district not participating in your programs? Wouldn't they want to be involved in education to help out with helping the kids get out of school?
You're so cute.
And what they do afterwards?
Really, I'm going to tell you something. The school district is so darn underfunded. It's really sad. And the only way that you can provide something like this to the school district is through a nonprofit. There are a couple towns who tried for-profits. I disagree with that philosophy. That's Rotary. Sorry, can't do it. Through a nonprofit, you can provide that opportunity for the schools. Star-based analysis is another experiential learning that we participate in, and it only affects a few schools, you know. And so I want to build something that potentially all fifth graders could participate in, and then expand it even to other opportunities for older children. Maybe they come to our district after fifth grade, or maybe they don't know in high school or other ages. So yeah, they don't have the funding, but will they probably support once it's built in terms of, you know, encouraging people to go? I don't see why they wouldn't.
Katie, when you talk about sponsors, what kind of range are you looking for? I know there's no top range, that would be unlimited, but at the bottom range, what kind of sponsors are you talking about in dollars and
You
cents?
can give me I'll take a minimum deposit's a penny. That's what it is for the piggy bank. But Brian's, I mean, really, any support and help you can. I know that for the businesses, it ranges between $5,000 to $25,000 a year to sponsor a business, and it would be your company, and then that's what the kids would learn, and we'd work with you on the jobs and things. But then we'll have some other sponsorship opportunities. We wanted to do a brick wall over by where Rotary is, and I wanted to put frames up with the different projects that Rotary is working on, so that kids could pick a project to help support and learn more about that. We really have a lot of ideas, and so we're just going to start off, but we were thinking bricks would be like, I don't know, what did you think? A couple $100? Yeah, so, I mean, really, honestly, however you want to help, we will take it. I'm not good at asking for money, so I'm just good at telling you what I want. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Katie. I'm just not clear how you would choose these children. Or they go by school, or do
By
they
school.
By school?
It has
So-
to be the whole grade level.
Okay, so is this presented to each school?
Well, once it's built, if I build it, they will come.
Okay. Like the movie.
Yeah, they will come. Yeah.
This is really exciting. I wanted to ask a question about whether you're aware of some old, I guess, a game or system that was called SimCity.
Yes.
And what
You
that
don't
sparked.
think I played on that?
Yes, my son did. But what that brought to mind was this is very ambitious, and it's certainly the goal. But I wonder if a stepping stone along the way is to try and implement this in cyberspace. I've been to a lot of classrooms where they have Google Chromebooks and Google Classroom, and it looks like it's something, if it's not a module on there already, could be added. I don't see it as a replacement for this. There's nothing quite like actually being in the experience, but you know, it might be a way to kind of get there.
So Junior Achievement already does have a virtual version of some of these experiences, but what we find with elementary age children, that being in the space, it's kind of like when you go to Disneyland as a child, it's super cool, but if you've never been there and you go as an adult, you think it's a nightmare. It's kind of that enchantment, that charming thing where you get hooked, you get into that space, you believe it, you feel like you're really running the city, you're an adult for the day. And I know, like, at the end of the day, the kids are, like, exhausted, and we're like, okay, so how much did you actually work today? And let's talk about how many hours your parents work in a given day, because they'll maybe have 4 hours that they solidly work because they're consumers for other parts of the day. And they're like, oh, yeah, so you tell your parents, good job tonight.
Two questions, Katie. How much square footage, what size facility are you looking for? And is City Sim something that you've created, or
Yep.
is it an organization that's already established somewhere?
We're making it up. No, we're building it. I'm going to be using some of my staff that have already participated in other similar curriculums, and we're going to design it to be more modernized and really meet the needs of the teacher in the classroom. That's important. And then make sure that we've added some enhancements that make it more engaging for the kids. And so obviously when you open something the first year brand new, it will be piloting it. My schools have already agreed to be guinea pigs. And we will make tweaks and changes as needed. But it's not a difficult concept. Like I said, there are multiple versions throughout the country to look at as examples. But we really want to build this for Las Vegas. We want to make it our hometown, our city.
The square footage.
We minimum, what was our first one? Like 15,000, and then they're offering me, I think Nels has a 25,000 square foot. But like, if we start with 15,000, that would be great. But I know we're going to need two. So Phoenix, the way they did it, they built two towns side by side, and so that they could have two schools on one day. And that's a good thing because we have so many elementary schools, and there's a window of time that we have to get them in there. And you have to allow for them to have some time to teach it at the beginning, because they can't just roll in the first week of school. So you got to give them teaching time, and that's where you could use some other experiences prior to the kids coming and rolling in. So it's a scheduling.
Katie, since most of us are out in the community a lot, we can certainly kind of look around for sponsors and so
Yes.
forth. But when you say sponsor a booth, do they get to put their business name on the booth?
Yes. So the booth will be built. There's two options. They can either build it themselves within the space that we give them, or they can have us help build it out.
But they can use their business name?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's highly encouraged.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Over here,
sorry.
Karen.
Katie, in the past, you've taken children to BizTown in Arizona and in California. Do you know how many other schools in town take their children?
Zero.
To no other schools?
No.
Okay, and what is the cost that has cost you to do that?
$250 a child.
So that would be better
to get them
spent
to Phoenix.
in our own
but
city.
here it'll be $20. $20,000.
Thank you.
Here it'll be super cheap.
Katie, are we talking about just elementary age students, or are we talking about getting the high school age students
I want to
involved?
start with elementary. I know that Junior Achievement already has Finance Park, and I don't need to compete with them. So if they're meeting the need through that, but it doesn't say that I'm not going to create some other experiences for older students as we get going. But the first target is going to be that 5th grade group. You have to build up. You have to start at the base. You have to teach the 5th graders first. Then you can add more complex concepts as they get older. But you have to address elementary before they already know everything. You've got to get them.
So, Katie, I have one. I'm just going to make a comment. I'm not going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Since you've had such great success with CCSD, you've proven yourself. You have a great partner, Mr. Rosenberg. I'm glad I was able to connect you guys. But I'm going to say, I'll buy the first brick.
All right. That's awesome. Second. Oh, thank you.
So related to sponsors, are you potentially going to have 2 or more sponsors in a category so they have a little competition in free market?
Absolutely.
play?
So
So
some
we'll
biz
have 2
towns do have
banks?
2 banks. Absolutely. Sometimes that's helpful because the kids have to go and deposit. So they've had credit unions and regular banks, and because they all have to deposit once they're a consumer, you kind of want to reduce the line. So it's good to have 2. Yes.
So the vision down the road is to operate 5 days a week
Yes.
with 2 schools,
Yes.
even at the same larger site,
Yes.
simultaneously?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be ideal. Yeah, because you can separate the 2 schools, and then if a school is smaller, you can also include homeschool kiddos to join in with that school on that day to make sure that you have enough students to run the town. You have a minimum number of students that are required, otherwise you have to close down some businesses, and it kind of throws off the balance. So you invite other people in.
I guess, any other questions? Lamar?
So, Katie, are you starting a brand new nonprofit organization with the
Yep.
board of directors and all that kind of stuff?
Yep.
'Cause
Brand new.
as a person who's been 30 years in the nonprofit business, getting started up is hard, and then getting sustainability
He's the
is the
smart
question
guy.
about how that's going to continue year after year.
Yes. And I know in watching other models that they've had no difficulty whatsoever in maintaining it. Once you have the doors open and everybody coming, it will sustain. This model, I mean, they've had the model in Kansas City for over 20 years. And I know that San Diego's had their model for quite a long time as well. So this particular model, I feel confident, is going to not have that trouble.
Thank you so much for coming. And as you know from being here many, many times, we have an award that we want to give to you. It is a Share What You Can award. And we're going to feed a needy veteran in your name. Thanks so much. And I know we have a lot more questions, so if you want to, they're going to stick around. Come on up and ask them. It's always a good sign when you get a lot of questions and people are super interested. So thank you so much for coming. Murray, could you stand up just for a second, please? Folks, Murray's been here for weeks and actually months, and I'd just like to say goodbye. Good luck, good travels, and we look forward to seeing you next year. So please, a round of applause for our resident. As we leave here today, let's go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor all persons. Love and serve each other, rejoicing in the fellowship of Rotary. Be people of action. Be the inspiration. Meeting adjourned.